Peter the Great was born in 1672, and he died in 1725. Peter was Tsar of Russia from 1682 to 1725. His self-given title was Peter the Great, though he was officially Peter the First. Peter the Great is credited with dragging Russia out of the medieval times to such an extent that by his death in 1725, Russia was considered a leading Eastern European state. He centralized government, modernized the army, created a navy, and increased the subjection of the peasants. His domestic policy allowed him to execute an aggressive foreign policy. Without doubt, Peter the Great's childhood toughened his outlook on life and people. His life was constantly under a threat from factions surrounding the two widows of his father. When his father, Alex, died in January 1676, Peter's elder brother succeeded as Theodore III. His succession was legal and no one could dispute it. Theodore died in 1682. Problems over the succession came on the death of Theodore. The mother of Peter came from the Narushki family. They wanted Peter as sole Tsar of Russia. Alex's first wife came from the Milovodsky family. They did not want Peter alone to succeed. The Milovodskys were supported by Moscow musketeers, and they both wanted a joint rule by Peter and Ivan, his mentally deficient half-brother. The Stresleys gave the Milovodsky family the military backing to succeed in this case, and Peter and Ivan were accepted as joint rulers. However, in 1682, both were underage, and a regent, their sister Sophia, was appointed to this position. In effect, Sophia did little as she was besotted by her lover, Prince Gilson, who was appointed chief minister by Sophia and ruled as he wished. He embarked on a highly unpopular domestic policy. He persecuted the Old Believers for spiritually holding Russia back. Many Russian people looked up to the Old Believers as the true symbol of religious devotion, and disapproved of what he did. Gosselin also persecuted a laxer foreign policy in 1687 and 1698. He launched two disastrous campaigns against the Crimea Tatars. With such chaos at government level, Peter the Great felt strong enough to challenge Gosselin. This he did in August 1689 at age 17, when he removed both Sophia and Gosselin from power and ruled as Russia's sole leader. In theory, he shared the throne with Ivan until Ivan died in 1696, but in reality, Ivan played no part in government of Russia. Peter the Great's sheer physical presence seemed to indicate the way his rule would go. He was nearly 7 feet tall and very broad. He was massively powerful, loud-mouthed, violent, ruthless, impetuous, and he always wanted to learn and was always active. He learned how to be a carpenter, talked to mathematicians, and learned how best to train soldiers, including how to torture people. While Sophia had been regent, he had lived in Germany and spent time living with soldiers, learning about fortifications and ballistics. When back in Russia, he formed a small army out of his servants and used them in live ammunition firing war games. Peter the Great died in 1725.